We are conditioned to believe that merit is the only currency that matters. The common promise is simple: produce the best results, work harder than the rest, and your competence will be rewarded. But in the high-stakes game of power, a single stress point can turn that brilliance into a liability. Being exceptionally good at your job can actually be a career-ending mistake. While skill is necessary to rise, displaying too much of it at the wrong time triggers a specific defensive reflex in those above you. In 17th century France, Nicola Fouquet, the finance minister, found this out the hard way. Following the death of the prime minister, Fouquet set out to prove he was the most capable candidate to lead the nation's finances under King Louis XIV. Fouquet hosted a party of such staggering scale that it remains a legend in French history. He invited the king to this massive chateau, Vaux-le-Vicomte, to showcase his unmatched taste, his immense wealth, and his ability to orchestrate the ultimate spectacle. Fouquet achieved his goal perfectly. He proved he was the most sophisticated man in the room. But in his effort to be the best, he had unintentionally set the stage for his own ruin. The morning after the celebration, Fouquet didn't receive a promotion. He was arrested. The king's guards took him into custody on fabricated charges of embezzlement. The punishment was absolute. Fouquet was sentenced to life in solitary confinement, eventually spending 2 decades in a prison cell high in the Pyrenees Mountains. Fouquet's downfall wasn't the result of incompetence or theft. He was destroyed because his party was too magnificent. By making himself the center of attention, he had inadvertently challenged the king's image as the focal point of the French court. Outshining the master was the one mistake his brilliance couldn't overcome. Fouquet's story illustrates a recurring pattern in human hierarchies. Authority depends heavily on the perception of being the most capable person in the room. When that perception is shaken, the hierarchy itself feels unstable. Those at the top of the pyramid are often more insecure than their titles suggest. Their status isn't just a rank, it's an identity that requires them to appear superior to everyone they lead. When a subordinate displays a level of talent that overshadows the leader, it creates a psychological friction. The person in charge no longer feels like a master. They feel like a placeholder, waiting to be replaced by the rising star beneath them. This is the core of Robert Greene's first law of power. To stay safe, you must ensure those above you always feel comfortably superior. An insecure boss will often work to neutralize a brilliant subordinate, just to restore their own peace of mind. Exceptional talent is only useful if it doesn't humiliate the person who controls your paycheck. If your brilliance makes them feel small, that talent becomes the very thing they will try to eliminate. Astronomer Galileo Galilei navigated this hazard with far more precision than Fouquet ever did. In the early 1600s, Galileo was a generational mind with a recurring problem. He needed wealthy patrons to fund his work. Without royal support, his research was impossible. This text, the Sidereus Nuncius, contains Galileo's sketches of the moons of Jupiter. It was a revolutionary discovery, but Galileo knew that simply claiming the credit for himself would do little to win over the powerful Medici family. Instead of framing this as his own intellectual triumph, he sought a way to make it seem like a divine alignment for his patrons. He meticulously connected his astronomical findings to the established symbols of the Medici dynasty. He told Cosimo de' Medici that the moons of Jupiter were a sign from the heavens, reflecting the family's greatness. He turned his scientific breakthrough into a tool for inflating the Medici ego. Galileo secured a lifetime of funding and political protection by making his master feel like a star. He survived by realizing that making a superior feel brilliant is often more profitable than being right. Fouquet's life ended in a cell because he demanded the spotlight. Galileo lived in comfort because he redirected it. The same dynamic exists in the modern office. Whether you're dealing with a mid-level manager or a CEO, you are working within a system where the person at the top needs to feel essential. Staying safe requires strategic diminishment. Frame your competence as an extension of their brilliance, rather than a threat to their job security. In practice, this means asking for their advice even when you have the solution, giving them the final word on key decisions, and ensuring they are the ones who receive the praise when your work succeeds. Your career depends on the ego of the person holding the keys to your promotion. If you protect that ego, they will pull you up with them. If you bruise it, they will ensure you never get the chance to rise.